Hey everyone, welcome back to Data and Donuts. I'm here today with my friend and colleague, Catherine Parker. We're here today to talk about surveys and different aspects and experiences that we face with surveys. So before we get into the interview today, I'm going to have Catherine introduce herself.
Hi, as Aaron mentioned, my name is Catherine Parker, and I am an employee at College of the Canyons. I am a research analyst there, and I'm also a part-time psychology instructor at College of the Canyons and Los Angeles Valley College. I have been working in the California community college system for about 14 years now. So, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So, as we start our survey, can you give us a few examples of how surveys are used at your institution?
Sure. Well, most recently is probably you all can relate COVID-19, right? To get an understanding of how students are doing, the barriers that they're facing, what's working, what's not working. Also, employees, like climate surveys, right? Like how are you guys doing? And then other surveys, right? So in a normal academic year, we would do satisfaction surveys for programs on campus. And we also do how are students doing in their pathways, equity surveys, do they experience discrimination or anything on campus, just everything. We like to do surveys.
That's awesome. No, that's really good. Sometimes it's great to take the pulse to figure out qualitatively, really capturing that student's perspective and voice. It's very important. And I feel it's essential as we start developing, refining, and strengthening our programs and services offered. But similar to what a lot of our institutions face, while there's a big need to do the surveys, we try to be mindful to say we don't want survey fatigue to happen. But what is survey fatigue and how would you mitigate that?
Oh my God, survey fatigue is when you don't want to take the survey anymore. When is this going to be over? And that's, probably because there's too many questions. The questions are redundant. Sometimes I feel frustrated when I'm taking a survey. Like if they don't have appropriate response alternatives, I'm like, I needed none of the above. I can't apply to this. And it bothers me that I'm not going to be answering it correctly. So that's how we can get survey fatigue, or you survey too many times, too much. And for me, I know it's challenging because we have so many questions, but to do our best to keep the survey short enough, to the point, and make sure we're asking appropriate questions with the appropriate response alternatives. Make sure they're efficient and you don't have too many cooks in the kitchen trying to throw in things that they want to know.
That's really good. And I think it's a really good point of how we want to navigate that, really focusing on what the purpose of the survey is, maybe also letting our students, our colleagues know what we're going to utilize that data for is also a really great, helpful way to do that. And as you've alluded to, collaborating with peers outside of your office for survey development, what recommendations would you have for our friends and colleagues to say, hey, I'm going to put a survey together, but I'm going to use a cross-functional team from individuals through across the campus, maybe even students? What would your recommendation to those individuals be?
I would recommend making sure you have it's difficult, but a representative sample across campus, depending on what you're studying, and students also. And you need to have good boundaries, I think. So right when we make a survey, I think we need that representation because there are certain areas on campus that I don't know what the heck you do. I have an assumption, but I don't really know what happens, and I don't know how students interact with you, et cetera. But then there's sometimes folks that get involved and they have their 2 cents, and they're like I mentioned earlier, throwing in things that they're curious about, or they don't really maybe get the full picture of maybe that question's not going to really get at what we need. And so that's where you need someone to say, no, you know what, like, great question, but that's not appropriate for the survey. You got to have boundaries, right? And you got to be able to, keep people, in line with what you're working on. But I think it's important to collaborate, but with boundaries.
That's awesome. It's really good. It sounds like, setting a focal point and purpose and keeping individuals around that. And it sounds like you do a lot of good job listening and capturing that information as it adds a lot of context and perspective to the surveys. And like I said, really pulling back to that main point of what's the purpose of the survey and what's the end game. And it sounds like that's some really good recommendations you gave. And so we're going to move on to a few bonus questions.
Sure.
And so we wouldn't call this data and donuts without exploring that a little bit. So the first question is the terminology data. So in the name of this program, data and donuts, data and donuts, what do you hear individuals saying more often? What terminology do you use for the word data?
Oh, data.
That was easy.
Data all the way.
There you go. Excellent.
I won't judge though if people say data or whatever.
No, it's true. And usually I try to myself to when someone says, "Hey, can I get some data?" It's like, "Sure, let me send you that data," as opposed to be like, "Wait, let's you said it wrong." No. Yeah. So typically we just always meet people where they are. It's just a fun question. And then the final question is, what's your favorite donut?
Oh my God. I love a good chocolate glaze.
Excellent. The circle donuts, the bar donuts.
I won't discriminate. I'll do
there you go.
One.
Do both.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. Well, no, this conversation has been very insightful, very fun, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today. And so thank you everybody for watching in. If you could please select the subscribe button below. And we look forward to sharing more information and building our community. Thank you so much, Catherine, for hanging out today.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.